baby, yeah!
All right, guys, what's going on? So, this is the beginning of my podcast called I'm Just Saying Podcast. And I'm sure you can decode what that, refers to. Dragon Ball Z, that's where it all started for me. And I figure it's appropriate to name that, name my podcast after that. And basically, what it also refers to is on this podcast, I'm just going to give you guys my opinion on things. It doesn't mean it's a fact. And, if you disagree with it, that's fine. Or if you take offense to something I might say, I'm not here to offend anybody, but I'm just going to speak my mind and speak the truth. This is also for people who enjoy my content. If you're just at work and you can't necessarily watch one of my videos, but you want to just listen in, this is going to be great for that. If you're driving the car and you just want to hear what I got to talk about, that'll be great too. My goal is to put these out like twice a week. I know today's Saturday, but I'll probably try to do them like Sunday, so that way any events that take place Friday and Saturday, I'll be able to talk about on Sunday. And then I'll probably try to do it like Wednesday or Thursday as well. Just, again, talk about current events, talk about, Marvel, DC, talk about anime, just, talk about fun stuff, But, it might go off. It might go off into other industries, such as, maybe I might talk about, MMA, or maybe I'll talk about, musicians or things like that. So comedians, just, whatever I'm interested in, I'll talk about for sure. We'll talk about Amazon originals such as The Boys, Invincible, Rings of Power, just various things like that, Netflix, Hulu, all that good stuff. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. So basically, guys, I just got a few subjects that I wouldn't mind talking about today. And hopefully you guys also enjoy talking about it and hearing about it. All right, so one of the first things we're going to talk about today is so in the MMA community, I'm not sure if you guys follow that too much, but recently Francis Ngannou, who is the former UFC heavyweight champion, and he, was never defeated as the champion. Now, granted, he only defended the title once against Cyril Gane, but he won the title from Stipe Miocic in very dominant fashion. He ended up parting ways with the UFC because he wanted to basically follow the blueprint of Conor McGregor, and he wanted to fight a boxing champion, a boxing star, and he wanted to fight Tyson Fury. Well, unfortunately for Francis Ngannou, Dana White did not want to promote that with him, and he didn't. In his contract, they didn't want to allow him to do that. So Francis Ngannou was like, well, why would you do that for Conor, but you're not willing to do that for anybody else? Which I totally agree with. And then not to mention, Francis Ngannou felt like the money he was being offered by the UFC was very low. And he just felt like, he could have gotten better elsewhere, which I have been hearing from multiple fighters that when they leave the UFC, whether they go to Bellator, ONE, PFL, bare knuckle fighting, wherever they go, apparently they get paid significantly better, which is so fucking weird because the UFC is literally the best mixed martial arts promotion in America right now, like probably the world right now. It's the most famous, they're on ESPN and things like that. They probably sell the most pay-per-views and stuff. So it's like they're making the most money out of all of the fighting promotions, yet they're paying their employees essentially, or their fighters, some of the least amount of money, unless you're just a really big star like Conor McGregor, maybe John Jones, various people like that. They're probably going to pay you very well. But if you're not, there, if you're not the guy that's really commanding a lot of people's attention and getting them the pay-per-views, you're probably getting mediocre pay, which isn't. It makes sense to an extent, but bro, people got bills to pay, and if they're gonna follow mixed martial arts as a career, they need to be settled in their home life and their finances in order for them to focus on the fight at hand. That's just my opinion anyway. But so you know what? Let's bring the mic over here. So basically, guys, another thing that I'm very happy about with this podcast is I don't have to really do any editing for this. So that's going to be pretty awesome. I feel like, editing takes a lot of time and stuff. But with this podcast, man, I'm just talking. So, again, you could tune in to hear it. I will probably pause quite a bit and maybe even hit you guys with some and various things like that. But yeah, it's just what it is. So continuing with the Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury thing. So if you guys do not know, Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou just recently fought. And mind you guys, Francis Ngannou, although he did used to practice boxing and although he's familiar with fighting, on a very large platform, Francis Ngannou has never been in an official professional boxing match, okay? And he's going up against literally the best heavyweight professional boxer, Tyson Fury, who beat Deontay Wilder twice and stuff like that, So this guy's the real deal. Francis Ngannou performed really well against him, okay? He knocked him down. He went toe-to-toe with him. From what I'm told, he got the better in the exchanges. And from the highlights that I saw, he got the better of the exchanges. So he didn't end up getting the decision. They ended up giving it to Tyson Fury. So technically, Tyson Fury had won according to the judges. But a lot of people feel that Francis Ngannou was, he was robbed and stuff like that. So, and I agree, based off of the highlights that I saw, I definitely feel like Francis Ngannou kind of got the better of him and he should have been the victor. But, it kind of makes sense unless he knocks him out. Professional boxing, they don't want to look silly, right? They don't want to, this guy who's never had a professional boxing match comes in and beats our heavyweight champion. Like, that would just be bad future promoting for, boxing, right? So, naturally they're going to give it to Tyson Fury unless, Francis Ngannou put them in a position where they had no choice but to declare him the victor. And I'm sure if Francis Ngannou wanted to, he probably could have knocked out Tyson Fury. But the thing is he had to think about his stamina and he had to think about the fact that he had to go 10 rounds, because if he went for that knockout and he exerted a lot of energy, and mind you, Francis Ngannou is not a small guy. He is a very, very large man with a lot of muscle mass. I think he's like 6 foot. I think Francis Ngannou is like 6'6", maybe 6'7" or something like that, maybe 6'8". And dude, he's pure muscle. That dude is oh my God. I say this in a very complimentary way. The guy is a freak of nature, okay? He's one of the craziest looking athletes I've ever seen. Not only is he super muscular, but he's so big. That's he, in a way, he kind of looks like Lennox Lewis, the professional boxer, except he's way more like agile, like he could move around a lot better than Lennox Lewis, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen in the UFC and stuff like that. So Francis Ngannou is a freak of nature when it comes to athleticism. And yeah, so they didn't give it to Francis Ngannou, but the whole world saw it and they're saying, dude, Francis Ngannou beat Tyson Fury. Francis Ngannou is like the heavyweight boxing champion, right? And Francis Ngannou's like, yeah, man, appreciate the support. Now, since the fight has been done, because when Francis Ngannou left the UFC, Dana White had nothing but shitty stuff to say, okay? Oh, he fucked up. He's never allowed back in the UFC. And that's the thing, too. Why is he never allowed back in the UFC, Dana? You guys just had a disagreement about his contract. Like, why are you taking the situation with him so personally that you're not even allowing him back in the UFC? Like, are you serious? That's crazy. It's as much crap as Conor McGregor has pulled and stuff. Conor McGregor will take all the time he wants off. He'll, hit people in his bar. He'll do all kinds of crazy stuff. And yet he could keep coming back, to the UFC. But yet Francis Ngannou isn't allowed back just because he didn't agree with what you guys were offering him in his contract. This is where it gets a little dicey, right? Because, Dana White and the UFC were willing to do so much for Conor McGregor. Now, I get it. Conor McGregor had the whole continent of Ireland behind him. Plus, I'm sure other countries and stuff as well. And I like Conor. I think Conor is an amazing fighter. I think he's an amazing promoter, and I think Conor McGregor is a genius. Okay, so this isn't me bashing on Conor McGregor at all. I can see why the UFC did what they did for Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor benefited the UFC more than the UFC benefited him, I believe. I mean, the UFC was the platform that he ended up growing on, but I mean, all of that was Conor. Conor was the one who was promoting himself and doing all of that stuff. That was Conor. So I get that. I get that. But you have to understand, Francis Ngannou can be as big as Conor McGregor from a different background, okay? In my opinion, Francis Ngannou has the whole country of Africa behind him. Okay, those people look up to him. He's, that guy escaped Africa, went to France or something like that, and, was homeless. He went through a lot of struggle. Even though he was training to be a boxer, he transitioned to MMA. He did very well. He became the champion. Like, the dude is living the dream. They love him back there. And people love him in America. I love Francis Ngannou. I think his story is amazing. And I am definitely behind the man. Now, I will say this. As Francis Ngannou was doing really well in the UFC, I did start to notice that before his first fight with Stipe Miocic that he did end up losing by decision, he was getting very cocky because he was knocking guys out left and right. He had everybody patting him on the ass. I'm sure he was getting paid a little bit better. So he was starting to feel himself. And I saw that. His ego was getting up there and it was like, whoa, nigga, calm the fuck down. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're a good fighter, but let's stay humble. You know what I'm saying? Because you come from very humble beginnings. So let's keep it there, right? But and Dana White pointed that out. He was like, bro, this dude's ego is getting out of control. Like he really feels like he's that man, And in a way he was, but again, you got to stay humble in victory as well as defeat, right? Don't let money make you into a shitty person because eventually that money is going to go away or it's not going to be a factor, if your health goes bad or something like that. And you want your character and how you treat people to determine how people will look at you once that money is gone or you're no longer able to, be that man that you once were. You understand what I'm saying? So I get that. I get maybe at one point Dana White was a little disgusted with Francis Ngannou and his behavior, but Francis Ngannou seemed to have changed a little bit, went back to, all right, especially after Stipe Miocic beat him the first time, you could tell that brought him back down to reality, you know what I'm saying? And then he lost the decision to Derek Lewis right after that. So I think that humbled Francis Ngannou to be like, all right, I am a good fighter, but I'm not unbeatable. He didn't go on as long of a run as like Mike Tyson or somebody like that. So anyway, but so the issue is Dana White had all these bad things to say. He's not allowing him back in the UFC and stuff like that. And it's like, why? What's your problem with him? Because since the whole ego thing, apparently him and Dana White sat down, they talked, they got an understanding, and apparently they were like cool again. You know what I'm saying? So for Dana White to feel so strongly about that is weird. And, he was saying, oh, he's not going to make as much money and stuff like that. So Francis Ngannou recently signed a deal with the PFL before he started training to fight Tyson Fury. but the PFL, apparently they're paying him really well, and they in his contract he is allowed to venture off and fight in professional boxing and things like that. You know, basically what the UFC was willing to do for Conor, and that's great for Francis Ngannou, right? So since this whole fight and stuff, Francis Ngannou is basically telling like Dana White, like, see, I didn't fumble the bag. I'm out here making money. I just, in the eyes of the world, I just beat the boxing heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. Like Francis Ngannou is basically like, see, if y'all would have promoted me and you would have allowed me to do this the way you did with Conor McGregor, you guys would be sharing in this as well, the same way you did with Conor McGregor. But for some reason, you didn't want to back me up. You didn't want to go off and allow me to do that. And, I had to leave y'all, and now you guys look stupid, which I agree with. And look, bro, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you, because like I said, Francis Ngannou has his own fan base. So why was the UFC not willing to do with him what they did with Conor McGregor? Is it favoritism? But if it is favoritism, why is it favoritism? Dana White can't tell me that him and Conor McGregor have agreed on every single thing, and he's like, oh, he's my bestie because we agree on everything, and he's a great guy. Nah, I'm sure y'all have disagreed on some shit. I'm sure you guys have gotten into some arguments and stuff. So why the favoritism for Conor McGregor, but you don't have that for Francis Ngannou? So I'm just gonna leave it at favoritism, man. But some people might even go as far as to say, like, because Dana White, guy from Massachusetts and stuff like that, white rich dude and stuff. Some people might even go as far as to say, is it racism? Is that why you don't want to back Francis Ngannou the way you backed, Conor McGregor, even though Francis Ngannou, is arguably on the same star status as Conor McGregor once was, like, I don't know, bro. I don't think I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think it's racism. I just think it's favoritism. For some reason, Dana White just favored Conor McGregor so much over, because I mean, if you think about it, bro, he also favored Conor McGregor over other people who, were also white or, Hispanic or whatever. So, like, what's his name? TJ Dillashaw. I feel like TJ Dillashaw was, getting up there in stardom and stuff like that. And I think at one point he was talking about going and boxing some kind of boxer, and Dana White was still like, nah. Honestly, bro, it just seemed like Dana White did it once with Conor McGregor, and although it was successful, for some reason he's just kind of like, yeah, I really don't want to do this anymore. Like, it was great. It was a nice experience. But at the end of the day, I really want to just stick to MMA. So I think it's just more favoritism than it was, anything else. Now, this is the last thing I'm going to say about the Francis Ngannou thing, and then we're going to move on to our next topic. But, I'm happy for Francis Ngannou. Apparently, he got paid very well. He performed really well versus Tyson Fury. And, hey, bro, congratulations to you. But I will say this, bro. I feel like Francis Ngannou shines more as a mixed martial artist. When you can go in there and you could use your kicks, you could use takedowns, you could use submissions, and of course his amazing striking. Francis Ngannou is dangerous, bro. He don't got to worry about, I mean, he to an extent, he got to worry about the 5 rounds, but he knows that more than likely he going to knock somebody out as soon as he touches them in MMA, because he's got all these other tools to use as well, so, which he did with the Ciryl Gane fight. He didn't really have his striking available because he had a fucked up knee, so he couldn't generate the momentum needed to knock Ciryl Gane out, and he understood that. So what he did is he just focused on wrestling and taking him down that whole fight, and he ended up winning. So I definitely feel that Francis Ngannou, although he did very well in boxing, he keeps talking about a Tyson Fury rematch, and now he's talking about boxing Deontay Wilder. It's like, bro, let's not forget about your commitment to the PFL, bro. Like they're already doing you a solid by letting you venture off, to make your money and stuff. Let's not forget about them. Okay, you signed a contract with them, and you honestly, you look better in mixed martial arts. So let's get back to MMA. Let's do that, okay? That would be my advice to Francis Ngannou is, hey, let's get back to that, bro. Um, so with that being said, that's my opinion on the whole Francis Ngannou Dana White thing. And good for Francis Ngannou for getting away from the UFC. Don't let people tell you what you can and you can't do. You know, um, you let them know, hey, bro, I'm the one going out there and putting my life on the line and taking these hits and stuff like that. Like, you're not about to tell me that I can't, venture off and go box and make money and stuff like that. So good for Francis, man. I'm sure he's an inspiration to a lot of MMA fighters who are probably with the UFC and not happy with their current contract, their current pay and things like that. So good for him for sure. All right. So let's see here. Gonna talk about our next subject. So, to kind of get away from that stuff, let's talk a little bit about some, I guess you could call this anime. It's not your traditional Japanese anime, but it is technically animation. Let me take a drink real quick. So, Amazon has recently premiered their season 2 of Invincible. And I have actually seen the first episode because that's the only episode available right now. Now, prior to this, they did also release an episode where it kind of focused on Adam Eve. And it was, bro, and this is what I'm going to say about the first episode of season 2. I'm really proud of America. I mean, I'm assuming that the animation studio that's handling Invincible is an American one. I could be wrong. They could have, thrown it to, maybe a Korean animation studio or Japanese animation studio, but I'm assuming it's American. I probably should have looked that up before I talked about it, but that's what I'm assuming because the style seems American to me. But honestly, bro, the animation is very impressive. It's very impressive. The fight scenes are they flow very well. They're very crisp. The sound effects are on point, and people don't realize, man, those sound effects gotta really be good in order for your animation to really shine. And man, episode 1 of season 2 definitely stepped it up. I mean, don't get me wrong, season 1 had really great flow and sound effects and stuff as well, but they're carrying that on into season 2, and I just felt like the fight scenes in it were really good. Of course, the story is good, but we have the comics to reference for that. It's not like they're writing it off the top of their head. This story has already been pre-made, from I think it's Robert Kirkman or something like that is the author of Invincible. Something like that. I know Kirkman is his last name, but I don't know about the first name. But yeah, so the story is there. I do think they changed things around a little bit for the sake of the show. I know they don't follow the comic to a T, because I believe when it came to the original Guardians of the Globe, they did not die that early in the comic. So they kind of changed things up a little bit, and they changed their looks too. Like, I know War Woman, I think her name was. She looked badass in the fucking show. But if you actually look at her in the comics, she's not that cool looking. So, they make changes to make it more interesting in the show as opposed to the comic. But at the end of the day, they're going to reference the comic for the good storyline and things like that. So, they really just got to focus on the animation, the way it looks, and the sound effects. So I was very pleased with it. I'm very happy I'm very excited to see, what the future episodes hold. They're definitely getting some pretty impressive actors and actresses to join their show. They just recently got Sterling K. Brown to do the voice for one of the upcoming villains that they introduced in episode 1 of season 2. Sterling K. Brown, in my opinion, is a very, very well-rounded actor, and his voiceover for the character is really good. He has a very unique voice that is just gives you good vibes. Like every time I kept hearing his voice on the screen, I was just like, man, he's doing really good. So yeah, very excited and looking forward to what we're going to see from Invincible. Amazon is doing a really good job, with their originals. They got The Boys. They got The Boys Diabolical, which is, like I want to say The Boys Diabolical. It's like a cartoon. It's a variety of cartoons and stuff, but it's like Amazon's Love, Death, Robots, from Netflix, because it just seems like it's various different cartoon concepts and stuff that they mesh into a whole season, which is the equivalent to Netflix, with Love, Death, Robots. It's not one whole story. It's a bunch of different stories of different kind of animation styles, whether it's CGI or 2D or whatever. And that's what The Boys Diabolical kind of seemed like to me. But it was good. There were some good ones in there. There were some just okay ones in there, but I enjoyed it. But they got The Boys Diabolical. They just recently released Gen V, which, I had my reservations about, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying Gen V. It's not perfect. A lot of the main characters do annoy me, but it's not bad. I definitely enjoy it and stuff. So and then they also have Rings of Power, of course. Now I want to do a review for Rings of Power, so I'm not going to talk too much on it. But I'll just say that I thought Rings of Power was great. I thought it was great. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions about that. I will talk more about why I think it's great, so I'm not going to worry too much about it right now. But, I think it was great. So they got Rings of Power, and then, of course, they got Invincible. So Amazon's got some nice originals so far. I'm really happy with Amazon right now. All right. So yeah, that's kind of all I got to say about Invincible at the moment. Again, it's just one episode. Again, we know the story is good, so don't really got too much else to say. It's just the animation and the sound effects are really good. Kind of reminds me of Castlevania from Netflix, and that's fine, whatever. All right, so on to the next topic. All right. So let's talk about this one, guys. All right, so we talked about Francis Ngannou. We talked about Invincible. Now we are going to talk about fucking Marvel, bro. No, we're going to talk about something very specific from Marvel. We are going to talk about Blade, okay? Because Blade was announced to us a super fucking long time ago, right? I think, wasn't Blade announced to us when they were promoting, I think it was like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 or Eternals, or it was some shit like that when they announced Blade to us. And they brought Mahershala Ali out. For the, I'm sure a lot of people already know who Mahershala Ali is. He's a very good actor. He starred in other things such as what's that? Alita. He was in Alita. He was in Midnight. I think he played he played a small role in the Marvel show Luke Cage. He was a pretty decent villain in there, and he's a good actor, bro. He was in Predators, did a good job in that. He's a really good actor, right? And he's got a lot of swag to him. So when they announced him for Blade, I was like, okay, I could see that. I like that. I think he could do a really good job. You got Wesley Snipes, who did an amazing job as Blade, And I think that puts a lot of pressure on a lot of people. You know, like that's a tough role to follow up. You know, so I think there was a lot of pressure there for him, but he's also got some things on his side, right? I mean, he's doing the movie with Disney. Disney has, I want to say, just almost all the fucking money in the world, right? Disney's definitely got the paper, you know, and then and you know they've done really great projects in the past. You know, we could name a million of them. You know, a lot of their older Marvel movies are what was good, right? You know, the Thors, Captain Americas, Iron Mans, and things like that. They did a really good job. Their new shit, not so much. Their new shit, not so much. But so you know, it's like I think he has a little bit more tools to help him have a successful movie more than what Wesley Snipes probably did in the past. Although I thought, you know, the trilogy was good. I think they did a really good job with all three movies. So here's the issue, right? Because again, this movie was announced a long fucking time ago. And since then, we've been getting excuse me. We've been getting news that the script for the movie Blade had to be rewritten many times. They've gone through a couple of directors that have said, all right, I'm done, or they fired them. You know, so production on the movie has been halted for years, right? And of course, as Marvel fans, we're like, dude, could we just get a fucking movie? You know, like, not sure what you guys are going through over there, but let's get it figured out so we can get a Blade movie, right? And I'm not going to lie, you know, at first it kind of seemed like a lot of the news that came out, it almost seemed like they were putting the blame on Mahershala Ali. Like he was reading the script and then he was saying like, the fuck? Hell no. I'm not, you know, this ain't good enough. Throwing it back at their fucking face and being like, rewrite it, bitch, you know, and shit like that. That's what they made it seem like. They made it seem like the reason we're not following through with production is because Mahershala Ali is not happy with the script and shit like that, and he wants it rewritten. You know, so eventually I got to a point where I'm like, bro, like, you know, it can't be that bad, bro. Like, I understand you want to do the role justice, but let's get something going. But they just recently released news about the production and stuff like that. And the reason, okay, so this is what kind of gives you perspective on why he keeps saying, I'm not going to do this film until you guys get a better script. And apparently the reason is because the script involved the character Blade not being the lead role. Okay. Apparently he was going to be like the fourth lead, meaning his character was going to be concentrated on fourthly. They were going to concentrate on three people more than they would his character. And apparently these three people were going to be these random women, I guess. You know, who these women are in the Blade universe or whatever, I don't know. But apparently this is who they were going to concentrate on in the Blade movie. Okay, so here's the issue with that, guys. The movie is called Blade. Why the fuck would you mostly focus on other people besides Blade? That doesn't make any sense. Not only is the movie called Blade, this is our first movie of Blade. Why would you focus on other characters besides Blade? People want to see fucking Blade. So why would you do that? You know, and it's like the other issue is why is it three women? Why is it not two women and another dude? You know, why I think that's what people's issue is like, we get it, you know, like people, you know, we want women to be recognized a little bit more in movies and have more, you know, more like leading roles and that's all great and stuff, bro. But don't take a fucking movie that's supposed to be about a specific character and be like, fuck that character. Let's concentrate on these people. Like, nobody, no. You know what I'm saying? That's like, let me see if I can come up with an example, right? That's like saying, that's like calling a movie Goku and the movie should be about Goku, but the whole movie focuses on Chi-Chi and Bulma the whole fucking time. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? That don't make any sense. Let's come on. Let's leave those movies and those leading roles for women when it's supposed to be that. But this is supposed to be about Blade. Okay, Blade is a man, and he's a vampire hunter and stuff. Let's focus on that, bro. Come on. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, that's why he's like, no, I'm not fucking doing this. Like, I'm not filming this movie until you guys fix this bullshit. I'm Blade. The movie is called Blade. It's going to be focused on me. It's going to be a good fucking story. I want to whoop some ass and shit like that. Let's get this bullshit out of here. So you know what, Mahershala Ali? I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you for standing your fucking ground and being like, hey, I'll fucking walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing to me. Y'all came to me. So either you guys get this shit right or I'm not fucking doing it. So I appreciate that. And, if we don't end up getting a Blade as a result of it, that's fine, bro. Sometimes you just got to let some shit, you got to just let it lie. Like, we already got the great Blade Trinity from Wesley Snipes. And if Marvel can't get it together, to make a really good Blade movie, I would probably prefer not to have a Blade movie at all, because, and I'll talk about this a little bit later too, because this is one of the subjects, but a lot of the shit that Marvel and DC have been putting out lately has been fucking hot garbage. Okay. So, we'll talk more about that, but yeah, man. So that's my opinion on that whole Blade situation. All right, so let's go on to the next topic here. Oh, man. Okay, so this one's kind of getting off topic of MMA, anime, as well as Marvel and DC. But I kind of just want to talk about this one a little bit. Because, again, I'm just talking about any and everything, man. Just current events and stuff like that. Hey, you know what, guys? Give me 1 second. I just need to turn this fan on. It's getting a little toasty in here. All right. Sorry about that. Like I said, it was getting a little warm, but it's all good now. All right. So what I want to talk about real quick, guys, is that too loud? No, it shouldn't be. But what I want to talk about, guys, is Jada Pinkett Smith and her book that she's recently trying to promote. So, okay, I'm sure a lot of people already know about a lot of the bullshit that's happening with Jada and Will and their whole, their marriage and a lot of the bullshit that's been going on with them. The whole entanglement with August Alsina's, weird ass. And, her bringing Will Smith on the Red Table Talk, talking about that, which should have been private, but I don't know. That was weird. And then, of course, Will Smith smacking Chris Rock because he felt like he disrespected Jada in public. And then, now Jada, for those of you who do not know, Will Smith had made his own book a couple years back, and I think it was just called Will, and it was a picture of him, very, very unique cover, right? It was just a picture of him, but it was a lot of words comprised in it and stuff like that. So it was a very unique look. One thing I noticed about Jada's book and her book cover, because I haven't read her book, but her book cover looks just like that nigga's book cover. It's just like, bitch, you are a fucking leech. You are a leech. You're such a fucking moocher and a biter. You know what I'm saying? That, obviously you guys can tell, I don't fucking like Jada, okay? I think she's a piece of shit, okay? I think that she is just ruining Will Smith's image. Now, I don't think that's all on her, because she ain't holding a gun to that nigga's head and making him stay with her and deal with all the bullshit. He's, freely choosing to do so for whatever reason, so it's like, I can't put all the blame on her because he's the one who's still in it. But it's like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what you gonna keep letting this shit happen? Like, come on, bro. But anyway, she's a fucking biter. Took his same book cover and used it for hers. And then in her book, and the only reason I know this is because there's been articles, YouTube thumbnails that say it and stuff like that. Because, like I said, I have not read her book. But basically, in her book, she says that her and Will Smith have actually been separated. Now, whether that means they're legally separated, through court, or if they actually went and got a divorce some time ago. But she says that they're separated and they've actually been separated for a long time. Like, I think she said they've been separated since like 2016 or something like that. Whew, man, I got a lot to say about this, bro. Okay, so here's the issue with that, right? The main issue with that is, so now you're coming out and you're saying, oh, well, we've been separated since like 2016. So actually, that time when I fucked my son's friend and, and then when he smacked Chris Rock and I didn't support him and say, hey, my husband was just defending me, I'm definitely behind my, she's basically saying the reason she didn't do all that is because they're not even together. So she's like, hey, whatever he does is what he does, and whatever I do is what I do, and I shouldn't be looked badly upon for it because we've actually been separated since 2016. This is where the issue comes in, bitch, okay? The issue comes in is I've actually seen Jada Pinkett Smith go on a couple of shows, right? And in the shows, the host will be like, oh my God, you and Will, you guys have been together for like, I don't know, fucking 20 years or something like that. You guys are such a wonderful couple. You guys are sticking with each other. You have beautiful children. You guys are a power couple. Oh my God. And, Jada just be like, yeah, we've been together for 20 years. Or I don't know if it's 20 years. I'm just kind of saying that for the sake of the argument, because I really don't give a fuck how long they've been together for. Because it's like, have they really been together? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she'll just be like, oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, me and Will, we doing what we can. But in reality, according to you, y'all wasn't really together. So you're accepting the praise that people want to give you for, being married for such a lengthy period of time. But according to you, you never really were. So you're a fucking liar. That's what I'm saying, bro. She didn't defend Will Smith when he tried to, defend her honor over her fucking shaved head, which it's like, honestly, that was another thing where it was like, Will, what the fuck are you doing, bro? The nigga just made a fucking joke about G.I. Jane. Who the fuck gives a fuck, bro? She's fucking bald. Who cares? There's a lot of bald women out there that are beautiful. And they wear it proudly. There's nothing wrong with the nigga making a joke about her being bald. You know what I'm saying? And then the whole entanglement shit, like, you're a piece of shit for that, dude. Like, you had sex with your son's fucking friend. You're a piece of shit for that. And then, on top of that, you make it public and you embarrass Will Smith and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, it's not all just on her, because at any point, Will Smith can fucking divorce her ass and be like, bitch, keep that away from me. And he's not, so he's partially to blame for this. But she is just a shitty person. So you're a fucking cheater. You're, you can't take a fucking joke. But I'm sure you like to bag and talk shit about other people. I'm sure that's all her fucking Red Table Talk was about, was her talking shit about other people. And apparently she was trying to give marriage advice. That's the other thing. You gonna try to give other people marriage advice, bitch? Oh my God. Are you fucking kidding me? You're a piece of shit. She is a piece of shit. I don't fucking like Jada. I don't. And I'm losing respect for Will Smith as a fucking man. Like, nigga, grow some nuts, bro, and divorce that bitch. If you're, worried about paying spousal support and child support, no, you don't even gotta pay child support. Your kids are fucking grown. So yeah, if you worried about, paying spousal support or some bullshit like that, bro, like, well, you're fucking crazy rich, bro. Divorce that bitch and do what you gotta do, my nigga. Like, even if you paying a shit ton, you still gonna be rich, bro. Like, stop it. Oh no, that shit gets me upset, bro. That bitch is a piece of shit. Will Smith is a fucking weirdo. Honestly, I really don't fuck with that nigga no more, bro. And honestly, I used to love Will Smith. Used to love him. Now it's like, bro, you're a fucking weirdo. And they should have arrested your ass when you fucking slapped Chris Rock. That's assault. And then you got the audacity to get on stage and talk about, I just want to promote peace, and then you start fucking crying, nigga. Fuck you. Fuck you. Get off the fucking stage and give back that award. You don't deserve it, bro. You deserve to go to jail that night. I don't know. That's all I got to say about that. That's crazy. All right. So the next topic we're going to get on here, Jonathan Majors. All right. Okay, so let's talk about that. So, where are we at on the time? I can't see it. Anyway, so, there it goes. All right, so we might end up doing an hour. Okay. So, Jonathan Majors, right? Jonathan Majors, his last major role was King. I think he did a really good job. I think he looked really cool. He's a very talented actor. So a lot of people don't know that, or a lot of people might know or don't know that Jonathan Majors has had a halt on his career because he's actually been battling a case in court where I think it was like his ex-girlfriend or something like that, which, is, I don't know, happens to be like a rich white girl or something like that. She had alleged that he had hit her or something like that when they got into a disagreement. And, he was arrested apparently. And then since then they've gone to court. And of course, these allegations have affected his acting career. Apparently Marvel has said, hey, we're not moving forward with this dude until we find out exactly what's going on, whether he's guilty or he's innocent or something like that. And, it's really affected his acting career, of course, So apparently throughout the case, they have showed proof that he did not assault her, that, she lied about it and stuff like that. So she lied. He never assaulted her. She lied. Okay? So I think since then he's been exonerated, or basically to where the charges have been dropped against him. He's been found innocent or some shit like that, right? So this is where the issue comes in. Now, the topic at hand is okay, well, this woman lied about him. And because she did that, it's affected his public image and it's affected his ability to make money. Because I think his agency had also dropped him, and he's probably lost a few sponsors and stuff because of it, or maybe potential sponsors and things like that. So this has really affected him. Plus, she lied. You know what that's called? That's called filing a false police report. Okay? That's what that's called. That's a crime. Okay? However, Jonathan Majors and his attorneys, they do want to press charges against this woman for, alleging that he did something that he never did. Filing a false police report, whatever, right? And I'm assuming defamation as well, right? Similar to the whole Johnny Depp thing. The prosecution is saying, nah, we don't want to do that. Excuse me? Why? Why don't you want to do it, bro? Why don't you want to do it? Because she's a woman? Because she's rich? Because she's white? For real. Like, I don't know. Which one out of the three is it? Why do you guys not want to prosecute a person who committed a crime that affected the livelihood of someone who was innocent? That's not justice. That's corruption. Okay? So, that's a problem, bro. That's a problem. That's been a problem in this country. Is people getting away with crimes because whatever the reason. Again, because they're a woman and they're looked at like, "Oh, it's just a woman, just take it easy." No, fuck that. Again, women want to be treated equally. Okay, well, you going to equally fucking get treated as harshly as men do. Because if it was a man, more than likely they'd be like, yeah, we gonna prosecute you, bro. Yeah, man up. You about to take this. Or is it because she's rich? Fuck her money, bro. Or hey, if she's so rich, then she could slide Jonathan Majors a lot of the money that he lost because of her lie. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I got a problem with that. She committed a crime by lying and taking him to court for it and shit like that. And she didn't think that there was so much footage of her fucking lie. So you're going to have to pay the consequences. Because let's be real, she ain't about to do no jail time. If anything's going to happen, they're going to make her fucking pay him. And that ain't going to fucking, you know what I'm saying? That ain't the worst fucking thing. Let it be a lesson to you. Right? So anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm happy for Jonathan Majors that he is finally, exonerated from those allegations and stuff. And that, if he really didn't do it, I'm just glad now that the world sees the truth, and hopefully he gets his justice, because a person should not be allowed to lie on you like that and affect your livelihood and not have any consequences for it. So hopefully she does get prosecuted, and there's some. Now, am I saying I want her to go to jail? No, absolutely not. I don't want her to go to jail for that. I don't think what she did calls for that. But I definitely think, maybe she, be ordered to do, I don't know, some community service. And then, yeah, like pay him a fine, pay it to him. But for sure, she definitely doesn't deserve to go to jail. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so that's my opinion on that. All right. Okay. So this might be the last thing that we talk about, because we are getting up on an hour now. All right. So we're going to get back into anime real quick. So one of the things I want to talk about is season 3 of One Punch Man. Where the fuck is it? Okay. This is another thing similar to Blade that has been announced a fucking long time ago, and we still don't have it. Kind of pisses me off. I feel like One Punch Man doesn't get the love that it deserves, bro. One Punch Man, in my opinion, is one of the best animes out there right now. And it's by far one of the best mangas available out there right now, because it's got one of the best stories. And it's most certainly got one of the best artists or mangaka who illustrates it, Yusuke Murata. Okay. So I really don't feel like it gets the love that it deserves and the respect that it deserves. You got other shows like My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer, and those are amazing shows as well. I'm not saying they're not, but you got those shows where they get a new season like every 8 to 10 months, and that's great. I love that, because again, I'm a fan of those shows and those mangas. But where's the respect for One Punch Man, bro? Why are we getting a season once every fucking 5 to 6 years? To me, that don't make any sense. It's got a large fan base. Why are you guys taking so long to deliver? Now, here's my thing, and this might actually answer part of that question. Now, this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. I was going to make a video about it, but every time I think about the amount of editing that I would have to do for it, I kind of think to myself, like, nah, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't do it. But part of that might be the fans. Okay. And what I mean by that is a lot of people gave season 2 a lot of shit of One Punch Man. And honestly, yes, it was different. And yes, it kind of caught all of us by surprise. But if you really analyze season 2, it actually wasn't that bad. And in fact, when I go back and I watch season 2 compared to season 1 of One Punch Man, I feel like season 2 might actually be slightly better. And again, this is just my opinion. If you feel like season 1 is done better, that's fine. But I actually like season 2 a little bit better. Now, for those of you who do not know, JC Staff is the animation studio that took on season 2 of One Punch Man. And they get a lot of crap for a lot of the liberties that they took and their design choices. And again, I'm not gonna lie, like especially in the first like 4 to 5 episodes, Genos, his appearance was a little bit different, more so his mechanical arms. They did it in a way where it definitely looked a little bit different. And although it was new and it did catch me off guard, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But again, as I rewatched it and I continued to give it a chance, I slowly started to think like, you know what? This isn't that bad. In fact, this is actually kind of cool. And the most impressive thing that I thought JC Staff did for season 2 was the sound effects. If you really pay attention, bro, the sound effects for season 2, in my opinion, are way fucking better than season 1. It just sounds cooler, in my opinion. And I just really dug the style. So I think if people wouldn't have gave season 2 so much shit, JC Staff probably would have picked it up again, and they probably would have been fucking done with season 3. But because people are so fucking, crybabies about something that really ain't that big of a deal, obviously the owners of One Punch Man are like, well, shit, most of the fans were not feeling season 2. And we don't want to lose our fan base, so we got to take some time to find another animation studio who'd be willing to take on the project and do season 3. And then, if I'm not mistaken, they had gotten, what was it, not Madhouse. I think they did season 1. It was I can't remember I can't remember who took it on. Let me check here. Let's see here. Season 3, One Punch Man Studio. All right, sorry about that, guys. Studio Mappa. Studio Mappa. So they're the ones who are going to take on season 3, but again, Studio Mappa already has their hands full, and that's probably another reason why it's taking so long for us to get season 3. I think they're also doing Chainsaw Man. They might even be doing the rest of Attack on Titan. I think they got a bunch of other projects and shit like that. It's like, dude, if y'all just would have cooled the fucking jets on JC Staff and cut them a fucking break, because again, I thought they did a really good job. But if people would have just chilled out, we probably would have had season 3, man. But, sometimes you got to be careful what you say, bro, because you might get what you asked for, and people getting what they asked for means we not getting another fucking season of One Punch Man for fucking 6 years. Come on, bro. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed it, and I actually felt like JC Staff did a better job for season 2 than Madhouse did for season 1. Now, I'm not saying that season 1 wasn't good. I'm not saying Madhouse didn't do a stellar job, because they did. Season 1 is obviously what made us all fall in love with One Punch Man. They did an amazing job. The fucking fight scenes and everything were cool. But I think season 2 was actually a step up. But because it was different, people were just like, oh, it's different, so it's not as good, I don't know, man. That's how I feel about that. I'm just saying. And then, so lastly, bro, again, just kind of getting back on Marvel and DC. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Marvel, because Marvel, They're the ones who started the live action shit, and they really put out some good shit back in the day. But a lot of the shit they putting out now, bro, fucking hot garbage. Baking in the sun at 113 degrees. It's fucking horrible, bro. Invasion, that was horrible, especially the last fight scene. What the fuck is up with that CGI, bro? What is going on? Are you kidding me? You know, and that, a lot of their other shows, you know, I never watched WandaVision, but I saw clips of it and it looked bad and boring. Low key looks boring. I watched Hawkeye. That shit was horrible. Horror fucking bull. The only TV series spinoff that I've liked so far, and it could just be because I'm a little biased, was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I think maybe the only reason I really liked it is because the Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel character. So, and I don't mind the Falcon, you know, so that might be why I enjoyed that. But yeah, the other shit they've been putting out, bro. And I'm gonna say this: although I enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it definitely had its flaws, and it definitely could have been better. You know, it definitely seems like they're not putting as much money into the shows as they do the movies or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, bro. Marvel needs to get it together because they're definitely losing. They're definitely losing people's respect, and they're losing fan base, I believe. And same thing with DC. You know, I personally believe that when DC first started their live actions, you know, Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, what was it, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, the Justice League, you know, I felt like those movies were good. Especially Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice. The first Wonder Woman was okay. It was okay. I felt like Ares was a little strange. Felt like he could have been done better. But other than that, you know, the first Wonder Woman was okay. The second Wonder Woman, horrible. Never saw the first Aquaman. Never cared to. Probably never will. But I heard that didn't do well. And they're still keeping Amber Heard, fucking criminal. You know, like, I don't understand why they're she must be fucking somebody up there, because why would you keep her? She literally was found guilty of defamation against Johnny Depp. She's literally been declared a criminal, and you guys are keeping her on. You know, not only is she a criminal, she's like fucking Jada. Her and Jada, they must be going out getting fucking Starbucks together, because they're both pieces of shit. Amber Heard and Jada Pinkett Smith can go fucking suck a dick. You two are pieces of shit. But yeah, they're keeping her on. So good luck with Aquaman 2. Fucking dumbasses. I don't know what the fuck Warner Brothers is doing. And then I heard The Flash was a horrible movie. And again, you know, the guy who plays the Flash is a criminal. You know, he's assaulting people. He's doing all kinds of crazy shit. And he's a fucking weirdo. And, you know, they want to fire Henry Cavill. You want to fire your fucking star. The person that everybody fucking loves. You want to fire him. And you want to fire Wonder Woman. I think they also got rid of the guy who played Cyborg. I heard nothing about that dude. I haven't heard anything about him, but I'm assuming they let him go too, because he ain't been in shit. Which is, again, it's like, why? Where he at? You know, but it's like, y'all got rid of Henry Cavill, Wonder Woman, and him, and I'm assuming Ben Affleck, because I heard he's not going to continue too. Some of your best fucking stars you get rid of, but you're keeping Amber Heard and the guy who plays the Flash? Literally two criminals who have gone to court or have ongoing court cases? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys, bro? Oh my God. And yeah, their movies are becoming shit from what I hear. I never saw The Flash, but I heard it was horrible. I did see, what was it, Black Adam? Horrible. And that's the weird thing about DC. Some of the things that they used to do well, like I said, like in Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice, like their CGI, their fight scenes used to be done very well in those previous movies. They're in their newer movies, they're not being done as well. They look horrible. It's like you guys had it right the first time. Why would you change it? My fucking voice getting squeaky over here and shit, bro. Like, it gets me upset. Like, what the fuck is going on with you guys, bro? I don't know. But honestly, I'm getting to a point where I'm good on their live actions if it's going to continue like this. If they don't start reverting back to the shit they used to do, because I'll tell you guys right now, I'm going to say this. Eternals was a really good movie. But one of the things I appreciated the most about Eternals was Icarus. Now, what I mean by that is, if you pay attention to the movie Eternals and Icarus, when they would have Icarus fly, whether he was taking flight, he was descending from flight, whatever, right? His flight was so fucking smooth. That is some of the best flying scenes I've ever seen in cinema, okay, is the Eternals Icarus flying. Okay, it was so fucking smooth, right? So they do that really well. And I also think that in Man of Steel, Superman's flight was very impressive. And Dawn of Justice. I think Dawn of Justice had really good flying scenes too. But if you actually pay attention to a lot of the flying scenes in Black Adam, it wasn't the best. It was kind of bad. You know, I'm not gonna lie too. In Amazon for The Boys as well as Gen V, like in Gen V in episode 8, they had Homelander come down. If you watch Homelander descend from flight and land, it looks really bad. It looks like he's actually wearing. It looks like he's wearing a wire. You know, like he's wired down. It's like, bro, y'all gotta do some practicing with him on flight choreography, because it looked like he was wearing a wire being dropped. Okay, let's get our flight scenes like Icarus from Eternals, or maybe Superman from Man of Steel. Okay, it's like, you've done it before. Let's just continue that, and people who haven't done it, let's take what the success that other people have had, and let's apply that to ours, okay? Amazon, you're fucking rich as fuck. I'm sure that you can fucking figure it out. All you got to do is watch Eternals and be like, okay, how did Marvel or Disney, how did they accomplish that? Let's figure it out. Let's get it done. You know, like, I don't know. But anyway, so that's it, guys. That is my I'm Just Saying podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed the subjects that we talked about today. And yeah, you know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to, again, this is my podcast, guys. I'm not going to edit this in any kind of way. This is for people, again, who might be at work or driving their car. They can't look at a video. They just want to hear and stuff like that. And I hope you guys enjoy this. So if you do, please leave comments. Let me know, hey, bro, enjoyed the podcast. Please keep it going. Again, I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm not here to, you know, promote violence or promote negativity or anything like that. I'm just giving my opinion on current events and stuff like that. And it is what it is. Now, you know, although a lot of this stuff is my opinion, I'm going to say, you know, how I really feel. So obviously I'm not here to offend anybody, but for certain people like Amber Heard and Jada Pinkett Smith, or the woman who lied on Jonathan Majors and stuff like that, like, if you get offended, hey, stop being a piece of shit. You know, be a good person and you wouldn't have to hear shit like that. Not saying that I'm a fucking saint, not saying that I'm an angel, but I damn sure ain't gonna fucking, you know, treat people the way you guys have been treating people. You know, that just is what it is. But yeah, other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys. I'll probably do the next podcast. Today's Saturday. Probably do it like Wednesday, maybe Wednesday or Thursday or so. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys have a good one. Bye.